action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Ping.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Welcome to Conversations with Dipal, a medical intuitive and master healer. Dipal will help you expand your self-awareness, awaken your body to heal, and take you on a journey to higher spiritual levels. With all-encompassing powerful lessons, practical tools, and top insights, learn to overcome the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that keep you stuck. Each week, you will get a mind, body, and soul makeover, helping you step into your power and the life of your dreams. Welcome your host, Dipal Shah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Dipal. I am your host, Dipal, and thank you for joining me live or online. You can listen to this episode at anandaforlife.com or dipalshah.info. You could just click on the podcast page and you will find all of my previous episodes as well as this one. You can also watch us here live at CTR Network Facebook page. There are many ways that you can listen. You can pick whatever works best for you. For today's show, you can connect with us live if you'd like. And if you have any questions, we would love to hear from you. All you have to do is dial in at 844-390-8255. Again, that number is 844-390-8255. With listeners all over the world, I am here live every Monday talking about what your body is saying through symptoms. Your body can heal itself. Masking the symptoms doesn't help, or even ignoring them, which is what most of us tend to do. I want you to be in control of your health. I want you to be in control of your well-being, and I want you to be in control of your body. In each episode, I provide you with tips, tools, healings, and activations where you can start your healing process. So check out my website if you would like to grab your stress-free relief kit, which helps reboot your nervous system today. Just go to anandaforlife.com, and that is life.com. Today, I want to introduce to you this amazing and wonderful gentleman I have had the great pleasure of meeting, and his name is Brian. So today we're going to learn how heart-based, higher dimensional tools are helpful and beneficial to not only the environment, but you, the human, your soul, and beyond. So before I talk to Brian, let me introduce Brian to everyone here today. Brian Besco of Twistedsage Studios in the Black Hills of South Dakota. He is a master builder of heart-based higher dimensional energy tools. His soul's passion is to assist others in this new paradigm. He teaches clearing work and how to create and hold healing space. Brian and his immediate family are leading edge energy workers and healers. They are known for their soul level healing and clearing work, along with the Tensor Tools they produce, which also do clearing and healing on so many levels and layers. So let's welcome Brian Besco to our show. I am so happy to have you here today, Brian. Welcome.
Hi, Dipal. It is a pleasure and an honor to be here with you today. Thank you very much.
Yes, I'm so excited because as an energy healer, I have used so many tools myself, and the reason that I connected with you, it was interesting because I don't know if I even told you, Brian, but one of my students said, you need to check out Twistedsage. And I said, oh. And so I started looking at all the products that you have, and I connected with you on Facebook, and it was such an easy process. and it was just amazing because then I got my tools in the mail within like a week that we talked. And I have had such a great pleasure getting to know not only you, but getting to experiment with the tools that you have. So thank you so much. It's been an honor.
Wonderful. Yeah, and I see you're wearing one of the Coil pendants today, the Empath Filter. That's wonderful.
I am. I do get a lot of compliments when I do wear this one. And then I also have the awesome Gateway pendant, and that one looks really pretty. And I wear it however I want, I mean, because we can actually resize them however we want to. So it's really nice. I can wear it high, I can wear it low, and it's pretty amazing. But I really want to know how you got on this journey to creating such amazing tools.
Wonderful. Well, as a family-based business, a lot of this comes from my sister, Brenda Schnoes. She is one of the most heart-based connected beings that I know. She doesn't get taken down rabbit holes. Phenomenal healer. I mean, we see people with we've had friends with like a fist-sized tumor that give her a telephone call. 2 weeks later, the tumor's gone. Just things like that. I mean, just amazing, amazing stuff. And so it's her and I that, create the tools energetically. But how I first got on this was Brenda was channeling with, she channeled in the Hetica, the Triskelion, as the symbol of Hetica, the water elemental. And as we were getting that symbol out into the world and sharing it and what it does with water, the gals at the New Science of Water call us up one day and they're like, well, that what you guys are calling the Hetica, the symbol of the water elemental, we call the Triskelion. And what you guys are seeing that it's doing with water, they've been doing the same research and showing what it's doing with water. So that was pretty fantastic for us at the time. Some great confirmations. And then, then I had some friends who they called me up another couple weeks later and they said, well, we're scientists, but there's this gentleman, Slim Sperling, who he passed away in 2007. And this was in 2009, 2010. And they said, well, this gentleman, he just sits on our front porch every night when we come home from work. He's been passed on for 2 or 3 years, but he has messages for you on how to put together these Tensor tools. And I was very science-minded. So, but yet I was, my sister was starting to kind of blow that side of the mind away, the science side, with just experiencing the energy work myself. And so that started the path of creating the Tensor Rings. And it's just been a really phenomenal journey ever since then. For me, it's been a skyrocketing journey of awakening my own gifts. So a lot of the work that we do, and today we're going to do an activation later too. And a lot of this energy work, I'm kind of the one who brings us forward with my sister. She's the one who does all this huge leading edge work. And I'm just holding on for dear life as we're expanding consciousness. And so we're putting this all into the tools. That way, everybody else has the opportunity to go on that skyrocketing route with grace and ease. And they're just tools, that we create, because really we're all going there. We're all becoming more connected, more aware. Our gifts are coming in. We're just creating tools and fields to assist people to do it faster and easier. And the quicker that we all can just keep skyrocketing, the faster we are shifting the entire planet, human consciousness, and the universe at large as we see it.
I agree. I think more people are becoming more conscious. More people are even using their gifts more freely and openly. And yet we do still have some people that are afraid to use their gifts. And I feel like maybe some of these tools help enhance them and overcome that fear. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would totally agree. Because they're training wheels for us. They're they're holding the space, and they're allowing us to see real energy shifts taking place. Because as I say, I was very science minded when I stepped into this, but as I started to feel and experience, it allowed me to step more into my power. And that's truly what all this is about, is helping people step into their light, into their power, giving them the tools to be able to, you know, see real shifts taking place in the world. And yes.
Yeah, it's so important. And it's interesting that you said, because you came from a science background as well, it seems. And so I was selling pharmaceutical drugs for over 10 years. And so for me, it was very analytical too. And when I discovered energy healing, it was very different. It was like a whole different world, right? Because I've never heard of such a thing, even though, I mean, I don't even think I really sat there and thought about me being an energy form, right? I learned so much physics, and I just never really put the two and two together till somebody told me you're energy. Right? And everything around you is energy. And I'm like, what? Really? So, but that's amazing, you know. And I realized, you know, I was looking at your website, and I was looking at some of the family pictures, and it's just so beautiful how you do have your family working with you and on this journey of expanding people's consciousness. I mean, how many times do you hear that it's a family-based business? Because I think you said your nephew also works with you. Is that correct?
Yes, my nephew Lucas, he's been with me since the very beginning, and he's my shop foreman. And then, like I say, my sister Brenda and I do the creation of the energetic side of the tools. And then also my mom, she's our shipping department. Our other sister Billy, she's our business manager. I have a niece that works there. And then, of course, my daughter's 9, and we have other great nieces and all kinds of kids that are also at the studio all the time too. And then we also employ several other people in our town. So we're just in a tiny town in South Dakota, all 124 of us. So it's a perfect sacred space. I mean, we have one of the 13 Lakota sacred sites here. So it's just a safe, sacred space to be creating the tools. And the Twistedsage Studios that we have one studio where I twist all the wire, because that's where we energetically anchor in the higher dimensional tools into the physical. And then all the wire is cut there. And then we take it to the other manufacturing space where my nephew's the shop foreman, and everybody has their parts and creates the tools. But in South Dakota, we have all kinds of, it's a place where people can come visit. We're going to start doing more workshops there on consciousness, because again, the tools that we create, the Tensor Rings, they only work because we're able to create that higher space and hold that higher space, which is held within the tools. So the Tensor Rings, and this is just a really large ring that we have. I mean, we make all shapes and sizes of Tensor tools, but the Tensor tools are the copper rings.
And they're all copper, right? Everything is copper.
Yeah, the majority of everything we create is copper. We do some tools that are steel, that are copper plated, and those are kind of some specialty ones. We have some wands that are brass, and again, those are kind of specialty. But as far as actually the Tensor Rings, yep, they are copper, because copper is actually a crystal structure. And so when a copper wire is made, it aligns the crystalline structure within the wire. So I take that wire and fold it in half and then twist it. And that is the point to where we're anchoring in the energetic tools into the physical, into that crystal structure. So then when we fold that wire in half and we make the hoop with it, basically we have an energy flow that goes one direction of that piezoelectric crystalline energy flow goes in one direction and the other direction. So it's creating this counter-rotating flow of piezoelectric energy. So it's just a piezoelectric hoop. Now, what makes these so special and not just a piece of twisted copper is that they are cut to a very specific measurement. These measurements, we cut that twisted wire to within the 100,000ths of a centimeter. So these very specific sacred measurements are used to build megalithic structures all over the planet. When Slim Sperling, when he first was making the Tensor Rings in the early 90s, he started, they were using measurements that came from the Great Pyramids. And there was, and that was the sacred cubit. And that specific ring, you know, had that very specific measurement. So that's like the antenna when you cut it at those very specific measurements. And then that is what is creating the tensor field. Now, as things have progressed through the years, and as the frequency and vibration of the earth has been raising, and of our own abilities as humans, that higher connection, that higher frequency, we've been bringing in newer and newer tools. So when Slim Sperling was creating the tools, his first ring, it resonated at 144 megahertz. It was a measurable field within that tensor ring. And they create a column of light. And so that was a measurable field of 144 megahertz. And then he worked with scientists. They discovered other frequencies like the 177 megahertz. And as I was beginning, we had master dowsers that came in, and they assisted us in finding even more qubit lengths. And they all had a measurable frequency. Then as we were raising in consciousness and we were learning more about the tools, that they weren't just something that was science-based. They weren't the specific measurements and the piezoelectric flows and things like that. They were actually higher dimensional tools. And so we began to create, my sister and I began to create tools in this higher plane. And what I mean by that is when we found a measurement that was the balance and harmony ring, we ended up working with the consciousness of crystals. We would connect with the consciousness of a crystal, and we would ask that that comes into the etheric side of the tools and to bring its frequencies and properties through into the physical tool. So we create here first, and our tools that are on that higher dimensional plane, they're in a pyramid under a dome. They're very well guided, guarded, protected. And when I go to the heart space and I connect with those etheric tools and bring them into the crystal structure of the copper as we're twisting the wire, that is their connection. So when we create the tools here, we ask for the consciousness of the plant, crystal, mineral kingdoms to all hold that space within the tensor field. And then as we began to grow in consciousness and learn different things like clearing soul shards, going into the sacred space of the heart, working with ghosts, waywards, entities, clearing soul contracts, just all of these things that we learn to do energetically as modalities, so to speak, we would put that into that higher form of the tools as well. So anymore within the tensor ring, it is basically a giant toolbox of all these frequencies and properties. Now, if this was just a frequency emitter, we couldn't handle all those frequencies. So these newer, higher dimensional tools like the harmony ring and the golden fire ring, we see that when the human's holding on to it, the soul is also there, that higher soul self and all of our soul aspects. So basically it brings in the soul to be in charge of what frequencies and properties come through the tools for the person that they need at the time. So there's no longer a measurable single frequency within the ring. It's so much is available. Like I say, it's just a giant toolbox for the soul to access.
So then do they all have different purposes? Like all the tools, do they have different purposes? Because like I have this one, and so how do I know like which one do I need?
Right,
Because I
right.
have all of them.
Exactly.
How many
No,
products do you guys have? You have quite a bit, right? Because I was looking, I just couldn't count them all.
yeah, we have like almost 70 different products.
Oh wow.
And that's the thing is it gets really confusing when you go to the website and people have to do a lot of studying to find what it is that is best suited. So we've been basically no longer making a lot of the older frequencies. We're sticking with more of the golden fire and the regeneration ring. Those are the higher frequencies of tools. And so basically that's why we end up making these specific beginning kits. The energetic transformation package, it has a Wi-Fi ring, a water ring, that empath coil that you're wearing, the tensor field generator, the phone tabs. So basically when we put a tensor ring that creates a column of light into different shapes like the coils or the spheres, it just runs the energy differently. For example, I'll open up the energetic transformation package and we'll take a look and see.
I've got them all right here.
Right, that all fits into this box.
And on my phone. On the back of my phone. My daughter just loved it. She was like, "Oh, that looks so cool." And it's got like this beautiful design. What is this design, Brian? That's for the phone one.
Oh, so on the cell phone tab, that design, it's actually a picture of one of our products, which is the Taurus, the tube Taurus, or let's see if you can see that design. So basically this guy, it's just a sacred geometry pattern, but it's an actual picture of one of our tools. And when you go to the website and look, the energetics of the tools comes through in the pictures. I mean, we hear that all the time because they are quantum tools. They're dimensional tools that do come through the photos as well. So yeah, the little cell phone tab, it's a pretty phenomenal tool in that when you stick it to your phone, basically we've done the biofeedback studies through GDV biofeedback. And it shows that when you put this cell phone tab onto your cell phone, it aligns chakras, energy bodies, and makes organs function better. So instead of trying to block electromagnetics, we are changing them. We're repurposing them. Because electromagnetics in general, our world is electromagnetics. Our heart, as heart math shows, is a huge electromagnetic generator. It creates an electromagnetic field about 6 feet across. And it has that energy flow of the torus, of the toroidal field. So this little cell tab, I actually sleep with my phone on my head, by my head, on the headstand at night.
I think a lot of us do, which is so bad. They say you should at least turn it off. And I used to at one point, and now I leave it on, and so it's so nice to have this. And even kids nowadays have their phones. And so I was thinking of getting some for my daughters as well, and to put it on their tablets, because can we put it on our computers as well?
Oh yeah, and these little cell phone tabs will transform electromagnetics of all kinds. So it's changed into a beneficial frequency. So when I sleep with my phone by my bed at night, I am confident that it is putting out beneficial frequencies. Because not only is like the biofeedback studies, and GDV is kind of it's a pretty well-known, great biofeedback study. But taking the words for people who have severe sensitivities to electromagnetics, it's phenomenal to go to our webpage and on our testimonials page, because we have hundreds and hundreds of testimonials from people how these tools totally change their lives. I mean, they're able to use their cell phones. I mean, they change neighborhoods. the tensor field generator, the golden fire generator that comes in the package, this is a really fun tool. So basically where the tensor rings themselves, like the water ring that comes in your package.
Right.
Again,
I put mine like on top.
awesome.
I love it. But I guess you could put it under too, right? Like just put the, right? You could put it however you want.
Oh, exactly. And that's the thing is the tensor rings, they create a column of energy. So no matter how you place your water, it's working with it. And, you know, and that's like with the New Science of Water book, what these guys were showing was that with a tensor field, when you take in the science lab, you can take 2 beakers of water and put them on the balance beam. 1 beaker of water, you can put the tensor ring underneath of it, and within a few hours, it actually makes that water lighter in weight. The tensor rings contain the highest piezoelectric properties out of anything ever tested. And what that's doing with water is putting such a high spin rate that it's basically creating ormus out of your water. Kind of like white powdered gold. It oscillates in and out of physical reality because of the high spin rate. So the science is pretty phenomenal with this stuff. But so
can you put it in the water? Like, do you think anybody ever puts it in the water? Like any of these rings? You know, I know there's a smaller one, but I don't think this is not a water ring though.
Yeah, and that one's the Wi-Fi ring, which
okay.
They're interchangeable. All these particular rings that are in the energetic transformation package are all in the golden fire frequency, which can be used for water or electromagnetics. But when you use copper in your drinking vessel, you have to, you know, we suggest not putting copper in your drinking vessel. You know, the Ayurvedics, they've used copper for thousands of years, but you can actually get too much copper for your body when you orally ingest. With your skin, if you have these on your skin, wear them as a pendant or anything like that. Our skin is like a smart organ, and it will absorb only as much copper as we need. And then after that, it leaves that green on your skin because it's saying, nope, we don't need any more in your body. So if you put this directly in the water, you just need to muscle test every day before you drink that water to make sure it is okay to actually consume that. But the tensor fields, they'll go through steel, glass, plastic, walls, the earth, Faraday cages. Nothing can contain the tensor field because it is a quantum energy field.
I love it. I love it. And I think my kids love it. They're constantly playing with my tools. There's another piece within the, which I haven't had an opportunity to use. There's only 2 that I haven't out of the 7 or 6 that I got. And it was this one. How it's got a little sticker on the back. Where can I put this one? I think it was the electrical box one.
Right. Yeah. Yep. And so that's the golden fire disc, the little 2-inch disc. And these ones were designed to go onto your electrical panel, correct? So basically, a tensor field in general, if it's just a plain tensor field like the 144 megahertz field, if you put something within here electromagnetic, it will restructure the electromagnetics to be beneficial. But once we started working with higher consciousness, we began to work with the consciousness of electricity, of the copper itself, of Gaia, the earth elementals, because your electrical wiring is grounded into the earth. So you put this on your electrical panel, and instead of just clearing the electromagnetic that is right within this column, it works throughout the whole line. So to give an example, we have a master dowser friend out in Ojai, California. And what she does is she goes out with dowsing rods and she'll find energetics within homes and businesses that are non-beneficial. And you can even with an EMF meter find that within your fuse panel, it goes out about 5.5 to 6 feet out where it's producing an electromagnetic field which is non-beneficial. So when you put this onto your electrical panel, what she did in Ojai was she went out to the green transformer box that sits out in the yard, and she put one of these on the green transformer box. Before she did the readings of negative thousands at that transformer and negative thousands at a home and a business that were both connected to that transformer. After she put this on the transformer, it changed the energetics on the dowsing scale to positive hundreds in both the home and the business. And this wasn't even on the home or the business. It was on the transformer outside. So it's following the electrical lines and is basically creating a sacred space within the home, because even your even at your electrical outlets, there's about an 18-inch field of electromagnetic energy that comes out of there. That's non-beneficial because it's a certain hertz. It's, you know, it's like a 40 hertz, which interferes with the electromagnetics of our heart. So that's why that electrical field is non-beneficial. Plus, electrical fields will bring in a lot of energy and information that is not conducive to the harmonics of our electromagnetic field. So these change it. Kind of like the cell phone tabs, we're not blocking energetics whatsoever. We are changing it to be something that is helpful and beneficial. You know, people come out with a tri-field meter and they'll read the electrical field that comes out of a meter box,
Right.
you know, before, and then they put one of these on and they're like, well, wait, now that electrical field actually expanded, and it's because it harmonized that electrical field, and then once it harmonizes it, it does expand, but it becomes a beneficial energy.
So what about smart meters? Because I know more and more, I mean, even without our consent, you know, we're having smart meters put in, whether, you know, I know a lot of people that live in an apartment complex or wherever they're living, and they're like, oh, Dipal, I don't know what to do because I have a smart meter now and I know this is affecting me. So,
Certainly. Yeah, because the regular analog meters were just as dangerous as a smart meter, but then the smart meter adds the extra, you know, of the Wi-Fi style transmissions on it. So when you put this onto the electrical panel, again, it follows back to the meter and beyond. And then that electrical field around the meter, it's about 5.5 to 6 feet as well. So that electrical field is then harmonized as well as the transmissions of the smart meter within that field. So then it all harmonizes it to be a helpful and beneficial field. And then, you know, and then there's a lot of people who have the Wi-Fi, and that the Wi-Fi is affecting a lot of people as well. And that's what the other smaller 2-inch ring that you were holding up there earlier, and yeah, the Wi-Fi ring, this is such a versatile tool. Again, it can be used with water. You can put it on your water bottles because it's the same frequency as the water ring, the Wi-Fi ring is. But when you set it on your Wi-Fi, it will actually change the transmissions of that Wi-Fi box to be beneficial. You can put it on the antenna or under the box or against the box, doesn't matter. But when you if you get the set, the energetic transformation package, where it comes with the tensor field generator, you really don't need the Wi-Fi ring on your Wi-Fi transmitter anymore. Because if you think of all the transmissions that are floating through the air, if you get cell phone reception in your home, you're having cell phone transmissions come through. The electrical one, this golden fire disc will take care of any of the electrical transmissions that come through the wiring within your home, and that'll make that beneficial. But all the other things, Wi-Fi, your neighbor's Wi-Fi that you can pick up, your cell phone, all of that's basically floating through the air. Now, the tensor field generators, this golden fire generator, it has a sphere of influence of about 1.5 miles. So it goes 3/4 of a mile out in all directions, and it creates this solid bubble around everything that is transforming all electromagnetics. So all that stuff that's floating through your air, it's clearing it. So if you have this in your home, you really do not need the Wi-Fi ring. And then you can use this for all other purposes. A pendant, carry it in your pocket, using it with your water. putting it on a laptop, does not matter because it's going to work with electromagnetics, water, everything. So the golden fire generator, people report neighborhood shifting because the golden fire frequency is just something else. It's doing so much clearing work. And we've only talked about electromagnetics and some about water. But really these tools, they're more like we were discussing earlier, they're self-empowering. The golden fire that we refer to is the trifold gold flame of the heart. It's, that picture that you always see Jesus and Mary depicted with, but it's beyond religions. We see the sacred heart, which is different from the sacred space of the heart. Here in a few minutes, we're going to take a journey of moving our consciousness into the sacred space of the heart, which is in the very center of those toroidal fields, the electromagnetics of the heart. The sacred space of the heart is where we see our soul spark, our fire. But the sacred heart, the golden fire, that is something that humans carry but has remained inactive. When my sister and I received that sacred heart activation to where it was the golden fire, that is where we took that and we put that into the energetic aspect of these tools. So now then they carry that frequency of the golden fire, the sacred heart. So it is that frequency that is doing the clearing work of dense consciousness, lower vibrating energy, as well as ghosts, waywards, lower form entities, thought forms, emotional baggage that floats out in the field.
Right. Is there a place you should place this in your home? Like, does it matter?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, because like I say, it'll go through walls, every place. So having the generator sitting anywhere where you can focus on it, and because these tools are going to work no matter what, without our intentions, without our attention. But when we put our attention onto it, it just amplifies the field even more. And again, because it's part of us being the powerful creators that we are. And even when we put our attention onto here, it's just expanding that light. So when I say 1.5 mile area, that's this innately sitting there. But we can sit within meditation and we can focus on this generator and we can expand that field globally.
Wow.
And we can just hold that field there.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, this brings us to a great place to actually do the process.
Awesome.
I would love for everyone to experience this beautiful, amazing process. I think you said it's about 10 minutes. So I think if people are driving, they probably should not be trying this while they're in the car. So
right.
Listen to the replay. You could go to anandaforlife.com and go to the podcast page and listen to the replay, download this episode, and you will definitely be able to get all the benefits from this wonderful activation that we're about to do. So if you're driving, please do not do this activation.
All right. So, and while we're waiting for everybody to just get settled in and shut your phone off and close your doors and pull over and park, I'll just give us a really quick rundown on the Golden Fire Coil, which we call the Empath Filter, because this is kind of related to the Trinity breath that we do, which is being in the heart space and sending our light down into the earth and bringing it back up, and sending our light up to source, soul creation, and bringing it back down. So we become this light column. And that's kind of like what this Empath Filter is doing, is that it is connecting to our hearts. It's bringing our light both up and down, grounding, connecting. And this one is creating that toroidal field, that tube torus around us as well. So the Empath Filter, it's kind of like doing the Trinity breath that we're going to do, in that it is bringing us more into alignment, balance, bringing our light more in, our awareness in. And so these tools are simply you know, a shortcut to being able to do a lot of this work. So
And I love mine. Does it matter if you wear it too high, too low, or should you wear it near the heart? Like, does it matter? I
oh,
like
not at all.
wearing it higher. I like wearing it lower, you know, depending on what I'm wearing.
Right. So no, basically, where the coil itself is creating that tube torus, the infinity at the bottom is what is connecting that into our heart. So where our heart's that huge electromagnetic field, we can wear this anywhere on the chest, anywhere near the heart, and it'll be connecting in and bringing our light with it.
And you don't have to wear it. You could just put it in your pocket too, right? I mean, that should be perfectly fine.
Yeah, you know, having this anywhere in your field is absolutely perfect. Closer to your hearts, the better, just because we're working with our light, which again, we carry that within that sacred space of the heart. So a little bit about the sacred space of the heart is that there's actually brain cells within the heart. That's where our consciousness began. And in time, our consciousness, that little ball of light, moved up into the head, right in the middle of the head behind the pineal gland. And it's that consciousness that is then influenced by, you know, survival, emotions, programs, beliefs, all that stuff. Our consciousness is influenced here. So the Trinity breath that my sister Brenda brought through, and others have brought through throughout the ages, is simply the 3 breaths to move our consciousness right back into the physical heart, the sacred space of the heart. So the sacred space of the heart is huge, because then our consciousness is no longer being influenced here. It is back in the heart space. So our perception shifts, everything shifts when we go to the heart. Simple, easy process. So if you're ready, just, all right. So we can sit or stand or lay down, doesn't matter. So just close your eyes and visualize your heart, your physical heart. And within there is your light, your soul's fire. We're going to send that light straight down into the earth, and we're going to connect to the heart of Mother Earth, that light within the earth. So we take in that first breath and we breathe in that unconditional healing, loving energy from the earth up through our bodies to the heart. The second breath is we're going to connect to Source, Soul, Creator, God. We're going to bring in that light, breathing that in right into the heart. The third breath, we're going to breathe in from both earth and sky, bringing both those energies into the heart and mixing them with you. Earth, sky, and you. So we stand as a column of light, where that light is connecting from Source, Soul to the earth, through our heart, straight back up. Just a column of light. So now open your eyes and see how you feel. See if you see the world in a different light. It's a whole different perspective. Because when we move our consciousness to the heart and we're seeing out our eyes, we're seeing with that higher soul self. We're seeing the world in a different way. So let's continue the process to activate that sacred heart, the golden fire. So again, let's close our eyes. Let's take in that breath from the earth into the heart. The breath from Source, Soul, Creation into the heart. The third breath from both earth and sky into the heart. Mixing that with you and sending it straight back out, so you are a column of light. Now, as you're that column of light, expand that light out from your heart. Just create this field, this space around you that is your light. That's the light of the earth. That's the light of creation. As that light expands out around you, try to visualize your soul standing right in front of you, that bright, beautiful being, and it puts its hand right on your chest and activates that sacred heart, the golden fire. And as that just brings that light of the soul, the golden fire, into the heart, just expand that light out through every cell of the body, in between every cell, and expand that out into the field around you. Now with that golden fire, you may feel that heating in the chest and the body. You may feel cool, clear waters, or you may just feel that peace. So that golden fire, that sacred heart, is anchored within the physical heart. Now you can imagine like that ache and a pain in your body, in moving your light and that golden fire and just wrapping it up. And then just letting it go. Let your light, let creation take care of it. Same with any life situations, other people. Just send that golden fire and your light out, wrap the situation up. We're not trying to change or fix a thing. We're allowing what our soul and what that higher light from that perspective wants to do. But it will shift and change things. But we just allow our light to do it. Awesome. And then just coming back in to the heart and seeing that golden fire and your light expanding out into your world, into your reality. So being in the sacred space of the heart is where you find your light, your soul's light, and that golden fire. So if you ever run into anything that you want to work on, whether it's something that comes into your awareness of a loved one, or the news, or whatever it is, just stop. Don't get involved with it mentally. Stop. Take the breath from earth. Take the breath from source soul. Take the two together to be that column of light that you are in the heart, and then expand that light out and send that light out around whatever it is that's in your awareness. Again, we're not trying to fix anything, heal anything. All we're doing is sharing that light and then allowing Source Soul Universe to do what is in that highest and best good perspective. Awesome. All right, and then start to open up your eyes and come back into the space you're at and feel how things look and feel different when you're in that heart space, when you're carrying all of that light. It can shift perspectives. And that's how we change the greater world, is we change our own reality around us and how we see things and how we create. So instead of creating from the head, out of fear, out of necessity, we create from the heart. So the sacred space of the heart and taking those 3 breaths is a huge thing. We should do that before we make decisions. We should do that when we operate our businesses. We should do that before we have those conversations with people, even the hard ones, especially the hard ones. Because then we're coming from the heart space. We're not coming from that fear, necessity. And that's how we recreate this world, is we recreate it from the heart space instead of the head space, the ego space, the fear, the necessity.
I'm still out there.
All right.
I don't know about everybody else, but I'm still out there. Wow, that was just so amazing. My experience, I felt like this pressure in my heart, and then all of a sudden my heart dropped. Like it felt like a drop, like as if like an elevator drops, but it felt like this drop all of a sudden. And then it was like this just lightness all over. Okay.
Cool.
And so that felt good to me. And of course I would love to know what others, feel, but this was very beautiful because we forget about our heart. It's easy to reflect on all the other parts of our body, but then the heart sometimes gets left out. And I think this is a very beautiful activation where we become more heart-centered and remind ourselves that, hey, this is the space we need to work from. And then that fear kind of just goes away, right?
Right. Yes, it does. It shifts the entire reality around you
So
and
then
how you respond.
when my question is, if we go to Twistedsage, and if we pick some tools out, is there like a beautiful activation like this for each tool, or what is that? How does that work?
So,
and should you have an activation with a tool like
right. And no, the tools, they come without instructions, and that's really what we've always been told, is that the tools are very intuitive. There's no wrong way to use them. Basically like the generator, you set it and forget it. Though also, to answer that question, yes, we are starting to do more webinars on the tools. We're doing 2 or 3 webinars a month. So there's webinars on the Golden Fire Coil, on the generators. There's a webinar on the water rings. And so again, in that page that you're going to go to for Dipal's, if you do want to get the energetic transformation package, that's the one that I suggest to most people. It's a phenomenal value. You save like over $20 just on the package versus buying the tools themselves. And each of the tools are the ones that are going to be most beneficial for us, for the environment, for electromagnetics, for water, for ourselves. We just made it simple and easy. But as far as the activations, also if you do buy the kit through Dipal, that we are going to do a 1-hour webinar for everybody that is exclusive to this group if you purchase the tools. In that webinar, we can walk you through any questions and answers that you may still have. But we're going to do some other really phenomenal activations. The Sacred Heart is game changing right there. But we're going to be doing some things like the Quantum Mind, some sun activations, clearing miscreations, working on bringing in our light more than we've ever held in the physical. So those are some of the things that we're going to do on that 1-hour webinar.
Awesome. Let me go ahead and give everyone the link. You could probably also, I think, find it on the event page of CTR Network Facebook page. And also, I will be putting it on my website today. So it is www.shop.twistedsage.com/products/conversations-with-Dipals. So if you can write that down right now, or just click, I will be making sure that it's in the link at CTR Network, as well as on my website at anandaforlife.com. You can go there and grab these wonderful gifts that Brian is presenting to us today, and has taken this awesome time. I know there was a lot going on this weekend and some emergencies that came up. And so I thank you so much, Brian, for being here. And the very last thing I'm sure people want to know, is there any warranties or guarantees on the products?
Oh, certainly. So we don't do guarantees on that people feel energy or that it will shift your relationship or things like that. So, we don't do returns of that kind of nature for anything of expectations. But gosh, in the 10 years and the thousands of orders sent out, we've only had like 3 or 4 ever wanting to do returns because my husband doesn't like me or something of that nature, but we certainly do guarantee that the quality of the tools is there. We have a lifetime warranty on the welds on the tools. So the physical products, yes, we totally have lifetime warranties on that. And like your cell phone tabs, if you need to change your cell phone, you just write to us and we send you that free sticky back in the mail to you. So that way you can change this and use this on your phone. So it's and do be sure to use that link for conversations with Dipal, because that is where you're going to find that free webinar that goes along with that package. And you won't be able to find it on our twistedsage.com website because it is an exclusive that we're offering all of you guys here, because and that in itself is a huge value. Because those activations and attunements we don't have listed anywhere else right now. So
well, awesome. Thank you so much. And I know we're almost running out of time. So again, I just want to tell you the link one more time. It is www.shop.twistedsage.com/products/conversations-with-Dipals. So it's S, Dipals. And then I will post it wherever I can on my Facebook page as well at Dipal Shah. So you could also find it there. So please do grab your kit because it is amazing. I love playing with tools, and I know you guys will too if you're like me. So thank you, Brian, again for being here. It was just wonderful, and I know our listeners also enjoyed it. So if you guys are listening to this podcast, thank you so much. Thank you for playing it. Thank you for downloading it. I would love it if you would share this podcast with others. Do your friends and family a favor and share this podcast with them so that they can also share it with all around the world, and we can all be protected with these wonderful tools and feel the energies. So thank you so much to our loyal listeners, and you can reach me at anandaforlife.com or dipalshah.info. Until next Monday, I will see you guys at 9 a.m. PST, 12 p.m. Eastern. I am your host, Dipal Shah, wishing you love, light, and gratitude. Namaste, everyone. Talk to you all Monday.